All right, hi everybody. This is the Navigatio Sancti Brendani, chapter 19. This is the story about the Griffin. All right, we're going to start off with an ablative absolute. With these ones, it's masculine. We know it's men because they're all monks, right? With these ones ascending, they're getting on the boat. These ones ascending. Furthermore, the sail, that's your actual subject, was being tended. That's an imperfect passive. The sail was being tended. And then it's going to tell you which sail. The sail on this ship by which the wind had driven them. That's a pluperfect subjunctive in that relative clause, quo ventus de regisset. It's a relative clause of characteristic. It's just telling us what kind of sail, which sail, the kind of sail that the wind used to blow them, to push them. When they had sailed, that is also a pluperfect subjunctive. It's missing a VI in here, and that's a syncope in there. So when they had sailed, like when they were in the process of sailing, there appeared to them, that's a dative, to them, a bird, which is called, that's a present passive indicative, which is called a griffin. And then Griffin is the subject. That's why Woolon's the present active participles nominative and singular to match Griffin. A griffin flying from far off against them. That means like coming right at them. Doesn't mean that it's like brushing up against them. It's saying they're going head on. So the boat is going one way, the griffin's coming right at them. When they had seen, that's another pluperfect subjunctive. Hike is your direct object. When they had seen these things, that's a neuter plural. The brothers were saying to the Sacred Father, don't forget sanctum patrem in the accusative, but sanctus pater in the nominative is the monk who's in charge. So this is Saint Brendan. He is in charge of this group of monks. He's like the captain of the ship, but also in charge of the voyage. The brothers, as the monks, were saying to the Sacred Father, and then this here is a purpose clause, to devour us. For the purpose of devouring us, that bird comes. That bird is coming for the purpose of, to devour us. That's a gerund. See that ND in there is telling you it's either a gerund or a gerundive. This one's a gerund with odd that expresses purpose. So to devour us, that bird comes. To whom he said, this is Brendan, do not fear. That's an imperative. We would normally in English write it with an exclamation point, right? Do not fear. Our God is a judge. It's a helper, someone who is always fair and just, who will defend, and then nos on the previous line, us, even in this matter, even in this moment that feels terrifying and there's a giant bird flying at us, right? Everything's going to be fine because our God is just. He's a judge who will defend us. It's also a future with that et, ace et. It's like the opposite of the Bo Biscuit ones, ace et. That one, the griffin, that's why it's feminine, was extending its talons. And then we get another one of these odd with a gerundive this time for purpose. That one was extending its claws to seize the servants of God. The servants of God are the monks, excuse me. This is another one, gerundive this time. I can tell because its os ending matches servos. So it's describing servos. In case number gender, it must be an adjective. Therefore, it's a gerundive. Yeah. Behold, now I would have put an exclamation point here and subito the start of my next sentence, but I didn't make up the punctuation. So behold, suddenly the bird, maybe a bird, this is a new bird, a second word. So behold, suddenly a bird, which to them in the next moment carried a branch with fruit, came. What that is saying is, as soon as he says, our God is just, they think they're getting attacked by this griffin. He's got his claws out to get him. But then another bird shows up and the bird is carrying a branch with a bunch of fruit on it. Okay, so suddenly a bird came against the griffin in a very rapid flight, which, now this is referring back to the bird. I'm sorry, to the griffin, the bad one, which immediately wanted to devour that one, which that one, the bad bird, immediately wanted to devour. So he wants to go get the fruit. The good bird has come to save them. But in truth, that's just an adverb. It's like indeed, but in truth, he was defending himself. And then usque dum is a little phrase that means until. Usque dum means until. He had overcome, I'm missing a VI in there, it's another syncope, and had stolen the eyes of the Griffin. And you finally get your subject at the end. Now, other than this weird subject at the end, almost all of this has been in English word order, or if you read it in this word order, it still makes sense in English. And we know that because it is helping us tell that the monk who wrote this story was, his vernacular was English. So until he had overcome and had stolen the eyes of the Griffin, the predicted bird, that's your subject. Until the predicted bird had overcome and had stolen the eyes of the Griffin. So he goes up to the Griffin and distracts him with his branch full of fruit and grabs his eyes out. Furthermore, the Griffin, that's your subject here, was flying into the height. That means into the sky. He flies up into the sky. So that now we're in a purpose clause. It's probably a result clause. So that the brothers had been able to see it scarcely. So that the brothers had scarcely been able to see it. But nevertheless, the murderer did not stop that one, meaning the good bird did not stop that bad bird until she killed it. For its body, that's the subject kada, where eos is the genitive form of is. For its body, her body, the Griffin's body, next to the, or excuse me, in front of the brothers, next to the ship, fell into the sea. Several things to point out. That is pretty decent Latin word order for that one important sentence. That's interesting. For its body fell into the ocean in front of the brothers, next to the ship. So it flies all the way up. They can't see exactly what happens, but then the body falls down. Also know that mare is a neuter word. The lemma is mare, maris, mariam, neuter. So mare is actually accusative. That's why I'm saying it fell into the sea. Indeed, that's again, in truth, the other bird, the second bird. And then reversa est, it looks passive, but it's a deponent verb. Returned into its own location, meaning its own home. So the second bird that comes just fights the Griffin, kills the Griffin, and then turns around and goes home. All right, that should be pretty simple. Good luck.